There are 5 more mistakes that piano players commonly make while playing the piano, and you're making some of these as well, I guarantee it, so you better pay attention. Your piano teacher Tim here, and let's get on with the first mistake. The first mistake that students commonly make is they use too much pedal while they're playing. So let me show you what this is about. So say I'm playing for Elise, right? Now, using a little bit of pedal really helps connect the notes together, helps it flow, helps connect those legatos, those slur lines together to complete those musical phrases, which makes the music more appealing to our ears. However, what a lot of students will do is when they run into perhaps a tricky spot, what they'll do is they'll just hammer on the pedal thinking that it will cover up their mistakes and nobody will notice. Well, guess what? Your piano teacher notices, your friends probably notice, and you notice as well. So it's not really covering up anything, but this is way more common than you would think, and it's actually even more common with more advanced players, mainly because they're playing for their teacher and they don't want the teacher to know that they haven't practiced that spot. But it's going to happen to you as well, and I know it because I do it, and I've been playing piano for a long time. So if you have the pedal down too often, obviously you won't be fixing those mistakes that you desperately actually need to fix, but you will also just be blending all the notes together and it's going to sound terrible. So if I just keep the pedal held down. Hear that? It just sounds terrible. It all blends together. Mistake number 2 that you're probably making is you aren't counting, maybe at all, but at least not consistently enough. So sure, maybe you know how to count quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty easy, right? Eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Pretty easy. 16th notes. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. But are you actually counting this while you play your music? Or maybe you struggle with that, doing both at the same time. Very understandable, especially for beginners. But maybe you're not even charting it out in your sheet music. You really should, especially in difficult spots, be charting out these different rhythms to make sure you have them accurately. Believe it or not, when I play a piece and I learn a piece for a while, I will not write in the rhythms and I will be holding notes for too long, too short. I'll be ignoring rests. I'll just be moving on quicker than I should be. Maybe my tempos will be off here or there, and that's because I'm not actually thinking about applying the knowledge that I already have. So it's not good enough to just know how to count. You actually have to apply it, just like music theory, to get the most out of it. You want to make counting a habit so that you're doing it consistently, but that's like with everything in music. It's all about developing good habits, and you need to develop the good habit of counting. Mistake number 3 is either using the metronome all the time, which is pretty uncommon, or never using the metronome at all. So what is the metronome? A metronome could look like this, or it may be an app on your phone, or you can even just Google metronome and it will bring up a metronome for you, so you can get them free that way. Or you can do one of these old-timey ones, which works like this. So what you do is you hold back this lever here, you kind of set like your tempo up and down like this, and it provides you a consistent kind of tempo. It's a little bit off here because it's not on a flat surface, but basically that is giving you your counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's really, really helpful in making sure that you're counting very evenly, very consistently. However, what it can also do is help you identify problem areas in the music. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so say I am practicing this Rondo alla Turca by Mozart, and say I begin the piece like this. But then I get to the bottom of the page where it gets significantly tougher, and say I play it way, way slow. Well, I may notice that on my own, but maybe I won't. So what could really help is if I start the metronome, and I'm not going to play it the whole time, it's a little annoying, but I start with the metronome from the beginning, and then, hey, when I get to that new spot, which was right here on that next to last line there, it will be very, very apparent to me that I'm slowing down. And also what it will do is it'll help me maintain the same consistency throughout those measures. Okay, for a lot of students, it's actually way, way hard to start with the metronome right away with pieces that you're already used to playing because they're kind of at a tougher level. And it takes a long time to really just get used to hearing this thing and playing along with it. So what you need to do is you need to pick a simple exercise like scales and play it along with the metronome. Maybe like one note for every click. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Just like that. And that's just a good way to start getting used to playing with the metronome. Mistake number 4 is so critical if you can help it. Now, I know we all live, or at least a lot of us live, adult lives or lives with responsibility. However, this mistake is not making time consistently enough to practice. So what a lot of people do is they'll have like 1 or 2 days a week where they'll practice maybe, I don't know, maybe a few minutes to a few hours. And hey, if that's all you can do, that's great. However, what it's better to do is to practice a little bit each day. Not only will it help you get into the habit of practicing, like exercise or anything else, but it will also help your brain retain more of the information, since it's harder for the brain to retain really long, lectures. Like, your brain really can't pay attention for 3 hours. I know mine can't. So like little like smaller like half-hour segments, maybe an hour segment, consistently through each of the 7 days, at least as much as you can, is the best. But just try to take whatever you're doing now and just spread it over maybe more days if you can help it. If you only have Sunday to practice, do that. If you only have certain days to practice, do that. But you want to try to kind of spread it out maybe a little bit more evenly, and it's actually going to help you out a ton. Okay, this mistake isn't nearly as obvious. It's something that gets, again, beginner players and more advanced players alike, even more commonly on the advanced side, and that's when you memorize a piece. Say you're doing a recital or something and you're memorizing for release. And it's a good idea to memorize your piece because you'll be able to concentrate more on the smaller little details like the dynamics in that. But where the mistake comes in is, say I memorize for release and I never look at the sheet music again. Now, what can happen? Well, what commonly happens, at least with me, is over time, while I'm memorizing something, my brain will start to inadvertently change things without me even really noticing. Very tiny things like maybe skipping a beat here, maybe holding a note too long there, maybe actually just hitting a wrong note that still sounds good, but it isn't really correct. It's also completely possible to spend months, years learning a piece, and then going back with a fine-tooth comb, going through the sheet music, and being like, oh man, I've been playing this note wrong for years, even though I've performed this many times. So the way you catch that kind of stuff is you go through, back to the sheet music, and I would actually play it like half speed as what you would do from memory, because that will give you the time, and looking at it from note to note, that will give you the time to kind of really chart out, being like, okay, is this really right? Because when you play things at full speed, and this goes to like the mistake number 1 with the pedal, and you have the pedal on full blast, you might go right over that mistake and not be able to hear it. However, if you go back, pay attention to the details on the sheet music, slow it down, you're gonna catch more mistakes. I guarantee it. I actually have another lesson I created on mistakes that piano players commonly make, and they're totally different than these ones. You need to make sure that you are avoiding these mistakes at all costs. So make sure you check out that lesson. I'm going to put a link here, or something that pops up right here. I'm also going to include a link in the description for you. So thanks for coming by today, everybody, and I'm going to see you in the next lesson.